left, right, attack, defense, stamina. Balance type bays are notably some of the most all-time powerful bays in the entire Beyblade franchise and have been since the beginning of Beyblade. With bays such as Dronzer, Drigger, Nemesis, Unicorno, Spriggan, and even Achilles, these bays have the capability of becoming any type of bay out in the field, completely changing the tables of the entire game, making every battle against a balance type bay a completely unpredictable battle. Balance type bays have left their mark in the history of the Beyblade franchise. However, with all the tricks and gimmicks that a balance type bay had, Takara Tomy took a different turn from the traditional method that defined a balance type bay and moved towards a new style of balance type bays in Beyblade X. And in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the balance type bays in Beyblade X and diving into a deep analysis on why the balance type bays will forever remain the greatest bays in the entire Beyblade franchise. This is the ultimate guide to the balance type bays in Beyblade X. As we know by now, Takara Tomy has rewritten everything we know about Beyblade, from the way we think, to the way we play, to the way we strategize. With balance type bays, though still capable of performing and acting like any other type in the Beyblade X and the Beyblade system, have been redesigned in a more simplistic manner. However, despite the simplicity of the designs, at the same time, these bays are some of the most complicated bays in the entire game so far. Balance type bays in Beyblade X not only rely heavily on a launch technique and a specific angle to be able to change the modes, but also the ratchet that is used, as well as the blade's own design. Compared to the three other types in Beyblade X, attack, stamina, and defense, the balance type bays rely heavily on every part of the Beyblade X combo: the blade, the ratchet, as well as the bit. Each part plays a critical role in the balance type bay's performance. But breaking things down and checking out all aspects of what makes a balance type bay a balance type bay, in Beyblade X, they focus highly on all combinations of a balance type bay. What makes a balance type bay, specifically in Beyblade X, has to do with everything about the blade's design. Balance type bays typically contain two of the three different types in the Beyblade system. You either have a combination of defense and stamina, stamina and attack, and the most famous and the most well-known, the attack and the defense combination. And in Beyblade X, the development department kept careful eye and careful attention to detail when designing the blades of each of the balance type bays. Bays such as Hell's Scythe and Hell's Chain focus a lot on the attack and the defense aspect. Meanwhile, bays such as Unicorn Sting and Leon Crest are designed with a stamina and attack type of gameplay. Hell's Hammer and Wellwave focus a lot on the aspects of a stamina as well as a defense combination. And then you have bays such as Weiss Tiger with the design in mind to be able to master all three different types: attack, defense, as well as stamina. Now granted that this does not mean that any of these bays cannot perform any of the other functions, but looking at their stock combos reveals quite a bit about these individual bays. Breaking them down on an individual basis, looking at Hell's Scythe, the very first balance type bay in Beyblade X, Hell's Scythe has a very aggressive, yet at the same time a very smooth and rugged design on the blade. And with the combination of that of the taper bit being a fusion of that of the needle as well as a flat bit. However, with Hell's Scythe, with the design of the blade, it seems to focus more highly on the attack aspect over the defensive aspect. However, that does not diminish the fact that it is still great for any type of defensive play. When launching Hell's Scythe and the taper bit, launching at an angle will provide it with a defensive stance, allowing for it to be able to maneuver around the stadium very slowly, not as aggressive. However, when you launch it completely flat, it does change the way it functions. It starts to act more like an attack type, moving very swiftly around the stadium and providing a very fast, swift, and heavy attack on your opponent's bay. However, when you look over to the second balance type bay released in Beyblade X, Hell's Chain, as well as the high taper, Hell's Chain primarily focuses on defense over offense, With the blade's design being more for a defensive type of play, it does still offer a very heavy attack when it comes to launching it at a flat angle. Launching Hell's Chain with the high taper bit being a high bit, a millimeter higher than the other bays in the Beyblade X system, allows for it to get up and over your bay, but it also allows for you to launch at an angle and allow for it to maintain more center of gravity to prevent it from scraping and completely losing control and completely getting thrown off balance right out the gate in a battle. Then when we come to bays such as Leon Claw as well as Unicorn Sting, with the variation of the point bit with gear point as well as the standard point bit, both bits are a fusion of the flat bit and gear flat bit as well as the ball bit, meaning that this bit is a combination of a stamina as well as an attack type bit. Now in Beyblade X, stamina types once more and defense types have completely swapped roles. Stamina types no longer sit in the middle, and defenses no longer ride around the outside of the arena, kind of eluding the attack type bays. Both bits have high maneuverability when it comes to launching at a flat launch, and even at an angle launch. Now when launching at a flat launch, completely flat with your launcher, on the point bit or even the gear point bit, it activates the stamina mode. Now the gear point bit does have less maneuverability than the point bit due to the mold and the design of the ball in the center of the point bit and the gear point bit. However, both bits still have the same type of maneuverability. But when you're launching at an angle, you activate that flat bit part once more. So launching at an angle does allow for these bits to kind of get more aggressive and fly around the stadium, acting more like an attack type bay. The launch techniques used with the gear point and the point bit are completely polar opposites of that of the high tapered and the tapered bit. But when you look at the design of the blades that they come with in their stock combos, Leon Claw as well as Unicorn Sting, you can see why the function of the bits are designed the way they are. When launching Leon Claw flat and even, it exposes the outer portion of the Leon Claw blade, which features a very round and a very smooth surface for the contact points. However, when you angle the launcher and activate the flat bit portion of the point bit, what it causes is it exposes the very top part of Leon Claw, which features a very hyper aggressive attack style design made to rip at the ratchet of the opposing bay. Now Unicorn Sting has a very similar function. However, the only difference between Unicorn Sting and all other bays in the balance type family is that Unicorn Sting's design clearly identifies what type each side of the blade is going to be, with the one side that's arguably defensive / stamina and the other side arguably for the attack side. Now because of this, the launch techniques used for Unicorn Sting are actually very simple in comparison to all the other types in the balance type bay family. You can either launch it flat, activating the ball part and increasing the stamina capabilities of the Unicorn Sting bay, or you can launch it at that slight angle to activate the gear point portion of that gear point bit. However, in battle, determining the modes from which your Unicorn Sting is going to be in is almost completely impossible, leaving the entire game up to chance as to whether it's going to be an attack type or a defense / stamina type. For Unicorn Sting, it all depends on when and where the opposing bay strikes the blade of the Unicorn Sting bay. Now what we have next is the Hell's Hammer and the Well Wave bays. Now Hell's Hammer and Well Wave are actually very difficult to be able to pinpoint. However, they focus primarily on the stamina and the defensive aspects of the Beyblade X system. Now once more, we do have to remember that in comparison to the previous generations, your stamina type bays have a lot of aggressive movements when it comes into Beyblade X battle. Now these movements are made to completely dodge the heavy impacts from the heavy attack type bays like Drawn Sword, Phoenix Wing, or Drawn Buster. Now both bays feature a very thick blade, and both of the blades are actually made to completely destabilize the opponent's bays with a heavy strike that could slam them to the ground and in most cases completely burst them upon that one simple contact. Now these balance type bays fully maximize the capability of the defense types in Beyblade X. Now launching Well Wave with that elevate bit at an angle does activate more of a defensive type mode. However, when you launch it flat, it does give it the mobility of a stamina type bay. Now Hell's Hammer and the Hexa bit is a little bit different, however still has some of the same basic understandings and basic fundamentals of a stamina and defensive type combination. Now with the Hexa bit, launching it at an angle does kind of give it more of a overly aggressive, almost borderline attack style of a stamina type Bey. However, when launched completely flat, it lands on that needle point infused in that Hexa, allowing for it to maintain a very strong defensive position in the middle of the stadium. And then we have Weiss Tiger. Now Weiss Tiger is the pinnacle of what a balance type Bey is in terms of definition as well as just performance. Now Weiss Tiger's blade is a fusion of every single type of Beyblade, all fused into one singular layer. Now with that blade, it does feature a very strong upper for an attack, a very strong downward smash for a lot of defensive and the other balance type Beys, but it also features a very circular and very round style that's made to resemble and represent the stamina type Beys. Now with Weiss Tiger running the Unite bit, the Unite is the only bit out of all the balance type bits so far in Beyblade X that features every single type. Now the Unite bit is a combination of the ball bit, the flat bit, as well as the needle bit. Launching Weiss Tiger completely flat lands on a very small pinpoint down in the center of the Unite bit, which allows for it to activate the defensive mode. However, if you tilt your launcher just very slightly, you could activate the attack type mode, making it very hyper aggressive around that stadium. Now when you launch a more of a steep angle, a little bit steeper than the attack, it allows for Weiss Tiger to move around and have the same maneuverability as the stamina type Bey, completely eluding a lot of the heavy attacks from all the other attack type Beys. But all in all, with the balance type Beys in Beyblade X, the thing that makes them completely unique in comparison to previous generations is their versatility. Now these Beys are completely versatile, and just understanding how the blades are designed and what the blades are designed for helps give you an extreme edge when it comes to the competition. So Beys such as Weiss Tiger, for example, you are able to equip it with quite literally any bit in the game, and it will perform almost perfectly in that style and that type of Beyblade X Bey. And Beys such as Hell's Scythe and Hell's Chain, now knowing the combination that makes it a balance type Bey, being that of defense and attack, makes them a perfect match on any attack and defense type bit, allowing for them to transform themselves into a pure attack type or even a pure defense type. Now Beys such as Leon Claw as well as Unicorn Sting, with the understanding of the combination of a stamina and an attack type, you can equip any stamina type bit as well as any attack type bit to these Beys, and you'll be able to see them perform and function as a solid stamina and a solid attack type without hardly any flaws. Now all in all, this does not mean that these Beys cannot be equipped with a different part that's not in the Blaze design. The Blaze design is just a simple reference point for you to be able to see what the Bey specializes in, and that right there is the best thing about Beyblade X in general. But with all said and all done, balance type Beys, once more, even in Beyblade X with a completely different style of the definition of a balance type Bey, shows us why these Beys are potentially the greatest Beys out of all the Beyblade types in the entire Beyblade franchise. Now that is everything for this video. I do appreciate you guys jumping in and watching. Stay tuned, we got more Beyblade X content coming out very soon. Soon we're going to be having the new Double Extreme Stadium as well as Silver Wolf, so make sure you burst that subscribe button and hit that bell notification so you don't miss out on any other future videos. Now like always, have yourselves a great night, and I'll see you in the next video.